So tonight's show is called Looking into the Heart of Deep Space. And it's about meditation and mandalas and looking inside and finding the answers that aren't on the outside. Well, one of the things we always talk about is just to give a basis of what we do here and how I operate with my art and what I believe art is about. And art, science, and nature all go together in my world. And nature is the king and the queen of the world. And all of our experience, bar none, comes from nature. And so when we have millions of years ago, when we had an experience in nature that impressed us so much that we had to record it. So we went into our little caves or onto a rock and we made a mark so that we would always remember this experience and be able to share it with those around us who weren't there and those in the future who weren't there as well. So over millions and millions of years, all those little marks have become our letters, our numbers, our mathematics, our physics, our psychology, our medicine. It all comes from making these little marks. So the artist is the conduit between nature and science. And science took all these little experiences and learned from them and created the wonderful institutions that we have that are revealing deeper and deeper our understanding of nature and the nature of ourselves. And so for me, this is the process of art and the symbols in the art that surround you. And this month it's about looking into deep spells. It's about meditation and the mandala, looking inward to discover those things that can make us a better person and sharing those with the rest of the world to make a better world. And so one of the things that we also talk about is in science, what is always going on in science. And today in science, there's a lot of interesting things going on. I always try to think of something that happened in the last month that got my interest. Well, we all know what magnetism is, and we all know the Earth has a magnetic field. Well, most recently, the Earth's magnetic field has increased its magnetism by a factor of 10. And it's part of the mystery. They're not sure why. It's one of those wonderful things that we have to keep asking ourselves why and learning more. And then we also want to mention the wonderful eclipse that's coming up. And we want you all to be ready for that because it's all about balancing out of the sun and the moon, the unconscious and the conscious energy in the universe. And so keep your eyes shaded and protected while you look. But remember, it's about the big cosmic symbols happening in our world, and they have deep meaning for us from the time all of our ancestors, all the way back to all of life, has huge meaning. There's also supposed to be the largest, most powerful meteor shower this month that they're very excited, the scientists, because they say this is going to be one that, they always say meteor shower, and you go out and you go, oh, I saw a couple. But no, there's supposed to be a lot of them, so make sure you can find yourself in a beautiful clear space, a dark sky space like Sedona, in order to enjoy the meteor shower. So there's other things going on. So the radiation, we don't know for sure where it's coming from, but also the radiation, the cosmic radiation, has increased by amounts that we're not sure why. So we're keeping our eyes to the heavens, and our scientists are working very hard to understand more for us about all these things that are happening and converting them into the symbols that we can understand in our language, in our art, in our music, and our poetry. So this show, Looking in the Deep Space, has a special poem. It's called The Circular Dance of the Sacred Symbols in the Sacred Geometry of Creation. And my oldest painting that I have is a painting of my hand I did when I was 5. Every finger is a different color, and in the center of my palm is the sacred geometry. So I never remembered that until I was about 50 years old. My mom showed it to me. I said, wow, no wonder. I was born with it. So here's the poem. It's kind of a meditation poem. So close your eyes. Now breathe deeply. Allow your breath to flow in its natural rhythm. Now see with your eyes closed. Look there. Look there in the very center of that infinitely deep inner space. There is the boundary of the inner meeting the outer. It is the synapse of your soul. And it is the synapse of all souls, of all life, of all nature, and all the symbols of nature's heart. It is a language. It is a language of the soul, resonating, radiating, and emanating in the great mandala of life. Meditation, meditation, meditation. There, in that absolute center of your heart, of nature's heart, the cycles of creation and the cycles of destruction, the cycles of life, the cycles of death, impermanence, fortune, family, friends and fame, all spinning symbols on a circular wheel. And they are revealing, revealing, and revealing in the great mandala of creation. There, right there, are the keys, the symbols, guiding us into deeper and deeper understanding. The keys and the symbols of compassion. The keys and the symbols of inner peace. The keys and the symbols of love. The keys, the symbols to your life and all life. Know them. They are the mandala of your own being. All right, we're going to keep on this symbol thing. I call myself a symbolist because everything we are living symbols ourselves, and it's good to know that you symbolize the crown of creation, as it were. So this is called the language of the symbols. Listening to the oracle's message, strange sounds of multi-dimensional spinning symbols, symmetrical magic, whirlwinds whispering. It's a language of the invisible, domains of the invisible oneness, the octave shifts, dancing in the ascending spiral of awakening consciousness. Slowing it down into the present moment time, claritas, integritas, consonatia, radiance, wholeness, and harmony. They are the mantra of the oracle. I understand more deeply now your symbols of nature's heart. I am grateful for your messages woven into the essence of our souls. The soul of the earth, soul of the moon, soul of the sun, the soul of all space and time, the soul of all no space and no time, the soul of the universe, the soul of all the universes, as it embraces us with equanimity and love. So I have another poem on meditation, and since this is about meditation and looking deeply, I wrote a very audacious poem called What Did the Buddha See When He Looked into the Mirror of Meditation? So there's an ego in here, of course. How could I ever know? Well, I'm trying. The Buddha and I have had a lot of conversations, so this is what he shared. What did the Buddha see when he looked into the mirror of meditation? He saw tears of joy and tears of sorrow. They gushed like rivers out of the Buddha's eyes as he saw nothing and he saw everything. And in the nothingness there was a great peace of mind. And in the everythingness, he saw how everything was interconnected and interdependent. He saw how his soul and his life force, his enlightenment, was in the eye of every soul. As the meditation mirror unfolded with deeper and deeper understanding, all of the nothingness and all of the everythingness began to dance and vibrate in the primordial rhythms. In the dance of nothingness and the dance of everything became a sacred circle, a mandala of nature's heart. Deeper and deeper, greater and greater, more and more understanding. The sacred circle began to rotate and spin. Spinning, spinning, spinning faster and faster, until all the being and all the non-being and all the time and no time, and all the space and no space, it merged and it fused into one single harmonious tone. There, the compassion arising from the Buddha's enlightened heart became the center of the meditation of the mandala mirror. In the center and teaching and practice of all the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, and saints, past, present, and future. Thank you. And we follow that up with a checking in on your present moment. I like this one. Haven't done it for a while. It's a good one to wake up to. It's called checking in on your present moment. Did you touch the earth today? With your feet, your hands, your body? Did you greet the wind as it blew across your face? Did you say hello to the deep blue sky? When did you last drink so deeply from the light of the heavenly stars? Or say hello to that big full moon and embrace it with your mind and heart? Did you open up your awareness to embrace the warm light of the sun as it touched your skin and your heart and your mind and your whole soul? And then greet the vast ocean of stars of the galaxy that we live in? And then contemplate all the galaxies of our current universe. And now, all the universes that live in the multi-dimensions of hyperspace and time, and no space and time. And then we ask ourselves, where are we now? You and I are both here and everywhere, and that's the oneness. It's a good thing to check in on, how you're connected. Because you can't disconnect. Okay, now just following in line here, this one here is the other one. I have people talk to me about Buddhism a lot, because I have Buddhist symbols in my work. And one of the great koans that always was given to the students by the master was the question, where is your Buddha nature? And the student had to come up with the answer before they could move on. So I have a poem about answering that question. Listening to nature's voice, understanding deeply the true intelligence and beauty of every stone, of every planet, of every tree, every sun, of every bird, of every drop of water, every reptile, all the oceans, every flower, every moon, every speck of dust, every form of invisible life, all of creation, all with a magical voice, intone the golden moments into the song of the present golden moment. Listen now and open your heart. There is your Buddha nature. And we always end with saying, the word Buddha has 3 meanings. In Sanskrit, it means to awake, to know, and finally to understand. And so when people say, are you a Buddhist? I say, well, I'm trying to be awake, I'm trying to know, and I think I understand. I guess I'm a Buddhist. Yeah, I always tell people there is no God in Buddhism, so you can be a Jewish or a Christian or any faith whatsoever and still be a Buddhist. Buddhism is about behaving in a specific way and giving courtesy and love and care to all living things and all our neighbors. So we'll move on here. And this is a poem that I wrote for Sedona, because you always have to write a poem about where you live. And all my poems come from where I live. But this one was waiting for me. It's called When My Eyes Met the Red Earth. Energy, energy, energy. I'll tell a little story. I always had this thing when, many, many years ago, I was driving through New Mexico from Santa Fe to Durango to deliver a very large mandala. And I was taking the back roads, and I got to this place in the road on Highway 96, a little town called Coyote. And there the earth was this deep, everywhere red. And I went, oh my God, I felt it. I have to live here on the red earth. And I ended up living there, actually. But I came back and found a place with no electricity or running water up in the ranch hills of the San Pedro wilderness. And it was really wonderful. But when I finally got back here, many years later, 25 years later, to Sedona, there was that red earth again. There's the red earth. So here's the poem about when my eyes met the red earth. Sparking, 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 some kind of DNA, RNA, memory code, memory code, memory code. Knowing this is the place. This is the place. This is the place. We are being called here by the living earth itself. The primordial, perennial spirits. The spirits in the red earth, in the red rock of nature's heart that sing their songs and dance and dance and dance in the perpetual, ever-changing light of the sun, light of the stars, light of the moon. Their presence of their wisdom energies for eons and eons and eons, emanating deep, deep understanding, shaping mountains, shaping canyons, shaping rocks, shaping earth, red blood vibrating again and again, and now listening, listening, listening. In this precious present moment, listen. The ancient heartbeat, it is there. Can you hear it? Churning, churning, churning. Drumming, drumming, drumming. The blessings of peace, the blessings of joy and compassion, the blessings of love and hope, all of the ancestors' spirit who live in our very being, in our red blood, and in our bone and in our flesh. That's what the red rocks said to me. There's all that iron, it's the blood of the earth, I'm sure of it. Okay, we got another one here. This one here is about opening up. Open up all the gates, all the doorways, all the paths, to all of heaven's boundless gifts, and all of the earth's healing gifts, of the sacred portal of nature's heart, of the sacred portal of your love's heart. Embrace the novelty and the newness, the model of change and transformation. All of His creation is sending its blessings to you and its gifts to us. Receive them and recreate the new models of joy and love and compassion as gifts from heavens. Share, grow closer, know the oneness of your heart and every heart. Bring peace to the one soul you have and share it always in the present moment with joy and love. So we always like to end with another one about light and the language of light. Because light, without light, what do we see? The luminous language of light, life moves as particles. Light moves as waves. Light is the quantum magic. Light is the language of nature's heart. Light is the key to the treasure. Light is the treasure of the stars. Light is an equanimous, very equanimous in its language. It speaks in a universal language that there is for everyone to read and understand. Light of the day tells us the story of the day. The light of the night tells us a story every night. And the light of dawn and dusk, it tells us a story of wonder and transformation. The light of our life, that electromagnetic light, that's the light of our beating hearts. Embrace all the light. Learn the luminous language of the light, and it will set you free. So we always say it's so important to tell everyone every week, especially in these times of trial for all of us. We all know what I'm talking about. The planet, our cultural treasures are being assaulted, and the earth is in a very critical balance. And I love to study this balance, even though it's very frightening. But when you meditate and when you have your own center, in your own peace of mind, and your own compassion, and your own love, and your own joy, and your own happiness, and you share that with others, it really makes a difference. I believe if there weren't people like all of us sharing these wonderful energies, that we wouldn't be here now, because it is in a critical balance. And every bit of compassion, every bit of love, every bit of peace, every bit of harmony, every bit of creative energy that we can share and put out into the world allows us to move on into the future. And of course, I'm a big believer in the future, and I'm very positive about the future, and that there's no problem, there's no condition that can't be resolved. And it seems like impossible, but meeting the impossible with the unyielding, indestructible diamond body of perfect wisdom and compassion takes care of all that. Because in the end, if transcendence is what we have to do, we will do it. We'll find ourselves on another earth, in another time, and we'll work on it again. Because that's the way it works. It's around. And we all are going around in the great mandala of life. And we all have a huge part to play, even though we seem to be insignificant and small compared to the 8 billion people, compared to the billions and billions of stars and billions of galaxies and life worlds everywhere. You say, well, how do I count? Well, you do, because when you have those thoughts, you connect with all those thoughts and feelings that exist everywhere, in all space, in all time, in all no space, in all time, in all universes, in all dimensions. And that's what makes it powerful. It connects you to the balancing, harmonizing forces of nature. And that's what we need. So we all have a job. We say it's our responsibility to be responsible humans. So be a beacon in the world. It wants your message of happiness and joy. And thank you for being here tonight.